All right, welcome to Mic'd Up and Misinformed with your hosts, Lunch Money and Mad Dog. Today we're going to break down and give our picks for the Super Bowl and the
Yeah,
upcoming UFC card this weekend. It's a UFC fight night, so not a lot of big time fights, but any weekend we get UFC, it's a blessing.
yeah, for sure. This is kind of a wonky card. There's a lot of new guys coming up, and there's some. I mean, there's some names that have been around forever, but they either have been fighting like less actively, or they're on some losing streaks, and they're just trying to get one or two more fights in. This is a tough one to pick. Last week we killed it. I think we only missed three fights for the whole card. I mean, we slaughtered it last week. Some
Yeah,
nice
and if
underdog
if
picks.
uh if you guys were tailing, we literally the only one that we collectively really got wrong, especially for some of these nasty parlays we had, was the Volkanovski fight, and that would have been an easy hedge, honestly.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, exactly. We told you to hedge it, so that was an easy hedge for sure. And
And
Diego
at
Lopez,
that, Volk by decision. We said it on the podcast too.
we
If
did say
Volk
it. We
wins,
called
he's a
it.
decision
Yeah,
merchant.
we said it. And Diego broke both feet, so I think that really. I don't know what you could see when he broke the one foot. I don't know when he broke the second foot, but I think that's why he wasn't shooting or being as offensive most of the time.
Yeah, I felt like in the fight, it was really close in the first like 2.5 rounds, and then Volk
Yeah.
took over. The injury to Diego probably played somewhat of a factor, but despite the injury, I feel like to beat the champ, you have to beat the champ convincingly, because
Oh yeah.
if it's remotely close at all, they're going to give it to the champ. I mean, you either have to finish the champion or you need to win a clear unanimous decision in order to take that belt, or else the belt's going to stay with whoever's holding
Yeah.
the belt currently.
And it just looked very similar to the first fight. Like I didn't see either guy really make dramatic changes to make a difference.
Yeah, I think, and I'll be the first one to admit I was wrong about Father Time catching up to Volk. He looked just as good as he's always been, man. Respect and props to him. He's truly one of the greatest featherweight fighters of all time.
Yeah. He might even have looked a little better, dude, on the second fight, but
Yeah, but we'll get into the UFC in a little bit. But man, finishing off the NFL season, we have a big time Super Bowl this Sunday. Anytime it's a Super Bowl, it's so fun to celebrate. Whether you're with family, friends, going out to the sports book at a bar,
yeah,
everybody. You see all these bandwagoners out who are Seattle
yeah.
or Patriot fans since mid January. And it's fun because everybody's betting on it too, and everybody's
Yeah,
getting into it. Even the people that don't like sports
yeah,
love hitting up a Super Bowl party and being
yeah, for
festive.
sure. Whether you're watching for the commercials, for the entertainment, the halftime show. I mean, like you said, people who don't even watch come out and watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a fun way to bring people together. Um, but speaking of the betting standpoint of the Super Bowl, we have the Seattle Seahawks are 4.5 point favorites. Last time I checked, versus the New
Yep,
England
they still are.
Patriots.
Yep.
Man, I'll let you break it down first, but I have a pretty strong opinion on this.
And I don't even know which side you're on, dude. But I think the Seahawks are better overall on both sides of the ball. I think defensively, both teams are pretty good. I just don't know, and I know you're not a Darnold fan, so I think you're probably leaning the other way. But I just don't know if Drake May, especially after his last game, really has what it takes to win the Super Bowl. Anything could happen, but they're at a neutral site. The weather's going to be good, and this is almost like Seahawks, backyard, right? They play here once a year. They're more familiar with the environment and the stadium itself. So I really think the Seahawks get it done. I don't know if it'll be a crazy blowout, but I think the Seahawks get it done. And that -4.5 is a little scary. So if you wanted to buy it down, at least go to -3. But I mean, Seahawks money line, I think they get it done, dude. I don't see any other way going. With Jackson Smith being the wide receiver, I mean, he makes it happen, dude. He's got great catches. They can run the ball. They can move it on both sides, and their defense, I think, is a little bit better than the Patriots as well.
Yeah. Um, I like the Patriots and the points. So I feel like personally, I think Seattle's a lot more dominant on the defensive side of the ball, but I personally feel like the Patriots are a little bit better offensively. I've been the biggest Darnold fan, or sorry, I've been the biggest Darnold hater all season
He's
long.
been hating all season.
I've been waiting for him to implode and have a 2-3 pick game, and he hasn't done that yet. He's been a
Yeah,
great game manager, and he's been proving me wrong. But so in this matchup, in my personal opinion, I feel like it's really a 50-50. You're right. Seattle's a heck of a lot closer to San Francisco than New England is. They have a lot more of a flight than the traveling that the Seahawks will be doing. But I feel like the spread's just a little bit big here. For it being 4.5, I feel like it's going to be a field goal game. So if it's a
Yeah,
50-50 game, I'm going to take the underdog in the points. I might even sprinkle the Patriots a little bit. But I like the Patriots in the points here, but this is one of the best Super Bowls that I can remember in terms of like it being a 50-50 on paper. I think it's such a great matchup, and it's really cool. We've talked about in the past with how the NFL, it's so nice that truly any team can make it to the Super Bowl each year. You know, the salary
yeah,
cap's pretty even across the board. You know, every team has even talent across the board on their team.
yeah,
And it's not like baseball or some of these other sports where the
yeah,
money's crooked and some teams have a lot better players and talent and money than other teams, and
agreed.
Seattle hasn't been that great since the Legion of Boom to since Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl,
Yep.
and the New England Patriots haven't won one since Tom Brady, and it has been a little while since that dynasty.
Yeah, and I think this year especially, dude, has been more even throughout the whole season. Like there really wasn't any one or two teams that were just dominating the heck out of everybody every week. And again, some of the teams that I feel like I would have picked to be at the Super Bowl, preseason, barely even made the playoffs or didn't make the playoffs. Like the Lions, dude. I mean, I would have thought they would have been deep into it. But some of these teams that you were expecting to go deep didn't do well, and some of the teams that weren't on anyone's radar, like the Bears, the Texans, started to really make a move for it. So I think it's more evened out, like you said.
Yeah. So again, you're taking Seahawks money line. I like the Patriots and the points. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle does win. Something I'm looking at too, possibly doing is I talk about these point margin bets quite a bit. I'm thinking about taking Seattle 1-6 and taking the Patriots on the spread, so that way I could maybe even hit that both ways.
Yeah, that'd be sick, dude. Yeah, I think it's gonna be close. I agree. I think it's gonna be a field goal difference. That's why that -4.5 is scary. So if you bought it down, or again, just put it on money line and we'll parlay it. I'm gonna make a UFC parlay. So I'll have one Saturday and one for Sunday, and it ends up being even money that way.
All right, so in terms of prop bets for the Super Bowl, I'm gonna say right now the coin toss is gonna be heads.
Oh, he's taking it. He's just
I don't know
going
why,
for
but
it.
I feel like it's gonna be heads this year. And then Gatorade color, I'm gonna say yellow, bro.
All right, that's crazy. I don't. I feel like I saw something where like it's never yellow ever. Let's see. I'll start trying to put these on real quick. I
Maybe
don't
we'll
know,
get
dude.
some good odds on it.
I don't really
Lemon,
have a.
lemon lime, baby.
So it's yellow, green, or lime. Yeah, plus 270. So that is one of the better ones, really. Orange is 250. Blue is 200. Heads. Yeah. So I mean, some of these things are crazy too. Like what they're gonna mention first. Who do you think the MVP is gonna be, bro?
MVP is going to be. Gosh, that's a tough one. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say MVP is gonna be JSN, the receiver for the Seahawks.
That's what I think,
Smith
dude.
Njigma. I
Yeah, I
feel like
think Jackson Smith
if
gets it,
Seattle
dude.
does win, he's gonna, he's the only one Darnold throws to, bro.
Yeah,
If he has like a buck 20 yards, it'd be hard to not give him the MVP, especially if he has a touchdown or two with that.
I love it, dude. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for sure.
So I feel like, because oftentimes a lot of the public money goes on the quarterbacks because that's the
Yeah.
obvious one to pick. But if a receiver does outstanding or gets thrown to as much as he does, I wouldn't be surprised if he got that.
All right, halftime show. How many wardrobe changes do you think Bad Bunny has? Over 1.5, under 1.5? I think over. I think he'll change at least twice.
Yeah, I say over for sure.
Right? For even money, I'll take that.
It's going to be, I don't want to really talk or get it too much into like, the politics side of things, but it'll be really interesting to see what Bad Bunny says and, what he does during his performance because,
It's gonna
there's a
be
lot of stuff
interesting,
going
man.
around right now. So,
Yeah. Yeah, same. I don't want to get into it, but I think, and there's an alternative halftime show, so I wonder what the views are going to be. So right now, it's the same as last year, over or under 135.5 million. And I don't know if more people are going to tune in to see what happens, or if less people are going to tune in and do the alternate. So that's kind of crazy too.
Yeah, I think Bad Bunny's gonna put up crazy numbers because he's so popular internationally, and he's like in the middle of his prime right now. So I feel like numbers are gonna be through the roof.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I don't want to get into it, but some of that stuff's crazy. I don't know why people hate so much.
Yeah.
All right, who do you
Do
think
you,
will
what's
win
the
this
over
one
under at for the game?
for the game itself?
Yeah,
I want to say 45 and a half. Let me pull it back up.
man, that would be that's a pretty good over under set right there.
Yeah, because I kind of like the Super Bowl. Because I kind of like the over, dude. I think it's going to be crazy. Yeah, 45 and a half.
Mm. I have the score, Mad Dog.
What's the score?
Seattle 17, Patriots 13.
Oh, that would be crazy, dude. But what is that,
Because that's
30?
right. It's under. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a defensive battle. Um,
I think it is. I think it is going to be a defensive battle.
so check this out, dude. I'm telling the future right now. So this will be crazy if this gets clipped and it's true. Okay, so Seattle wins 17-13. Um, they Seattle covers by just a half point, so that's going to be really interesting for the sports books. They're going to they're going to or sorry, the Patriots are going to cover cuz
Patriots.
they're going to
Yeah,
win by
yeah.
4. My bad. Patriots are going to cover by a half point. Seattle wins by 4, 17-13. JSN's going to have 120 receiving yards with 2 touchdowns. He's going to score the 2 touchdowns of the 17 other than the field goal that Seattle's going to hit.
I love it, this guy.
JSN gets the MVP of the Super Bowl and Seattle takes it home. It's a close game, but at the end they end up kind of pulling it out.
He's getting crazy with it. But if he calls it, that would be sick, dude. Your ESPN.
17-13 Seattle. So on the on the squares, I'm going to take the 3 for the Patriots and
Patriots.
then the 7 for the Seahawks.
All right, I don't have that pulled up, but I'm sure that's going to be sick, dude. That'd be a good.
I think honestly, bro, you can guess the exact score on the Super Bowl
You
too in
can,
the
yeah, you
sportsbook
can.
apps.
I like those squares better because at least if it's a little different, you can still try to get it.
Yeah, hey, we should ride that for fun. Like, just put a little 5 spot on both because that probably pays probably like $500 or
It's
something.
probably crazy, yeah. It's probably something crazy. All right, so then you want to do some player props real quick, dude?
Yeah,
So what do you think about touchdowns then? Now going off your thing, you think Sam Darnold's going to get 2 touchdown passes?
yeah.
Yep, I like that. You think Drake May's going to get over 2? Probably not.
They're only gonna score 13 points, so no.
Two.
They're gonna kick 2 field goals and only have 1 touchdown, and that's gonna be either Drake May rushing it or their running back running it in.
I love it, dude. All right, so we'll stay away from him. And then what about the over? They got Drake May right now at 220 for the over, and Sam Darnold 230 over for passing yards.
I'm gonna say both under.
Both under. Damn.
It's gonna be if I have to play like according to what I think the score is gonna finish at, I think they're both under 220.
I got you, dude. So then rushing
JSN's
prop.
gonna have a buck 20 of those 200 Darnold yards.
I like Drake May over 6.5 rush attempts. What do you think?
Oh, that's a tough one. Um, I'd stay away. I'd stay under if I had to pick.
All right, we'll stay away then.
I wonder how many sacks Seattle gets as a team. I would like to take the over in that.
Let's see, dude, if they have a defensive one here. Defensive
But
player props. Sorry, guys. It's just trying to navigate through this freaking.
and I appreciate you, bro. I've had a long day, and I'm excuse me, but I gotta eat this pizza too. So this is
Nah, you're
perfect.
good. He's eating Tony's Pizza. Sponsored by Tony's Pizza.
Man, Tony's Pizza. If you ever watch this video, which you probably won't, I would love you guys to sponsor us. I've been eating Tony's Pizza since I was in diapers.
Right, dude, for reals. Now they don't have a sack thing on Bavito.
That's all right. On Bovada.
Yeah, on Bovada. Some of them do, but this one doesn't. Again, that's why we got to have different sports books because everyone offers different things or has different, better odds, different odds. All right, so passing yards, rushing yards. All right, rushing yards. What do you think, dude?
Mm,
Kenneth Walker, over 73 and a half. I think it's a lot.
mm, under.
Under. And
Yeah,
then Stevenson for New England, over 49 and a half.
over.
All right, receiving props.
What's Stephon Diggs? I'd be interested in maybe sprinkling whatever his is.
They don't even have it, dude, on here for rushing yards.
Huh. Receiving yards, sorry.
Oh, receiving yards.
Yeah, he's
So,
for the Patriots.
all right, Stephen Diggs, over 44 and a half. I like that. I think it's doable.
He's a veteran receiver. He'll act as a safety
Yeah.
blanket for Drake May this game. So
And then
I wouldn't be
Jackson
surprised if
Jackson
Stephon
Smith.
Diggs was the leading receiver for the Patriots.
Jackson Smith over 94 and a half. I love that one. He's been hitting
Over,
like
baby.
yeah, he's been
Jackson
hitting like
Smith,
a
dude.
hundred easy.
He's Himothy, dude. Hey, I was looking at a post the other day about so Cooper Cup used to play for the Rams and was, excellent receiver when he was in his prime. And
Yeah,
he had a year with Puka Nakua, and now Puka's like been going crazy the last 2 years,
yeah.
right? Now Cooper Cup got signed to the Seattle Seahawks, and now JSN's been going crazy. So, look for Cooper Cup to be one of the best receiver coaches and mentors in the NFL when he does decide to retire.
Oh, that's interesting, dude.
Because JSN and Puka have been the best two receivers this year, probably.
Yeah, I would for sure 100%. I mean, I don't know anyone who's been hitting numbers like them and hitting some single-handed catches and stuff too,
Like, I
dude.
don't care how much you game plan for JSN right now. Seattle's going to find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah, that's the deal. He makes it happen, dude. He makes the breaks. He makes the catches when he needs to.
He's Himothy, but that's I don't, that we gave out plenty right there. That's probably the picks that I like for the game.
Yeah, I like those, dude. All right, we'll keep them. We'll just sprinkle a little bit on them.
That sounds good, bro. And then yeah, I'm excited for the Super Bowl Sunday. I don't I'm kind of heartbroken because my Chiefs, they were on a freaking roll. They were having a mini dynasty run, going to multiple Super Bowls in a row, and they've been so good the last like 6 years or so.
Yeah.
So it's kind of heartbreaking that they didn't make it even to the playoffs this year. So I'm just a hurt Chiefs fan, and I'm probably just gonna sprinkle the Super Bowl. Let's say if I had $100, I would put um I would put $40 on the Patriots plus 4.5, $40 on Seattle on a point margin 1-6, and then I would put $10 on JSN to win MVP, and the other $10 on an exacto score, um, 17-13.
Which that would be crazy if that hit. That's like perfect money, dude.
That's how I do $100 on the Super Bowl. So
I
I'll
like.
send you like what I was saying a little
We'll
bit
just
later
post
because I
some
know
other
that's a lot of that's
stuff.
pretty exact.
Yeah, yeah. We'll post some other stuff for sure.
What's your Super Bowl prediction score? You like Seattle too. What's your score ending?
Dude, I think it's more than that, honestly, bro. I could see it being like 28-31 for Seattle, and then I think it's same. I think it's gonna be close. It'd be like I don't know what is the 24-28 for Patriots.
I like that, bro. I might put a couple bucks, like maybe I'll take like 10-15 bucks and I'll put like 8 or 9 on mine and like 6 on yours or something for
Because
your
I
final for
know
exacto
when I
score. That'd be fun to ride those.
when I took the average of the last 5 games for each, I feel like the Seahawks were like at 33, and I think the Patriots were like at I want to because they had one low game, so it was down to like 24 or something, 26 maybe. So I think it's going to be like it could be up to 50 points. That's why it's at 45 and a half. But on the flip side, both teams defensively are really good. So then it's
Yeah,
hard
and
to dictate what's going to happen. Is there going to be a pick six this game? I mean, you know what craziness. And I think it kind of comes down to the who has the least turnovers and who has the cleanest game.
100% on that, bro.
So like
So we'll come back to this, man. It's either going to be 31-28 or 17-13.
we'll see what happens. I love it,
Both
dude. I
rolling
love
with
it.
Seattle and Patriots to cover.
All right, we'll switch over to the
Let's
UFC.
hit up the UFC now. So um, we have UFC Fight Night, February 7th, Bautista versus Oliveira. Not a bad card, man. We'll start
It's
with we'll start the early prelims and then work our way up to the main card.
it's really not a bad card. It's just kind of a weird card because again, there's a lot of newbies coming up, and then some of these guys, even though you recognize their name, they maybe haven't been, on the incline. They haven't been hitting anybody successfully. They've either been missing or just kind of a gatekeeper position for a while.
Yeah, that's a fact. First fight of the night. If you could read the odds, I'll read the names first.
I got you,
We
dude.
have Danil Donchenko versus Alex Morono. I don't know much about Donchenko, but I know Alex Morono's been in the UFC for quite a long time, and he's kind of he's like a gatekeeper for the newbies. If you got to pass the test of beating Morono, if you want to have a longevity career, a career of longevity in the UFC.
Yeah, I think you skipped the undercard, dude.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't scroll down. I'm so,
I'm,
my
I'm like, what?
apologies.
I'm like, what
All
is he
right,
talking
my
about?
bad. My bad. I got first fight here. Sorry about that. So we have Claudia
Start over.
Sagula versus Priscilla Cochera. I always have problems pronouncing her last name, but I know she's the a walking zombie, dude.
Yeah.
She still has been a punching bag that can eat a lot of shots, and it's hard to put her out.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of age versus beauty, dude. I mean, you got Claudia coming in much younger, and then uh, Priscilla's 37, bro. She's 37 years old. Like you said, she's taking a lot of damage, and nobody can put her out. So this is kind of a crazy fight, but I think I'm going to take Claudia here, dude. Overall, man, I
What's the
think.
odds on this? How big of a favorite is
Oh,
Claudia?
sorry. Claudia's minus 150. Priscilla's plus 130. And I think this goes to the judges. So when you know it's going to go to the judges and neither, fighter necessarily has like an outstanding, striking difference or grappling ability, it really is kind of a 50-50 when you leave it in the judges' hands, dude. Sometimes the judges get it wrong. Let's be, honest there. I mean, I think Claudia gets the job done, but this is really kind of a 50-50. I wouldn't put any real money on this fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one, man. I'll go with Claudia since she's cuter.
Yeah, age versus beauty on this one for sure, bro.
Next up, we have Muin Gafarov versus Jacob Willax. I don't know nothing about either one of these guys, man. You got a pick here?
Dude, Jacob is the underdog. I'm gonna take him, man. He's at plus 117. People have already been putting more money on him. He's like almost all of his fights. He's like, was he got 11 record? So 11 submissions out of 17 wins. So I mean, this guy's a submission artist, dude. So look for him to go, take the takedown and go for the grappling. So even if he doesn't get the submission, he's probably gonna win by control time. And for plus money, I'm gonna take that dude for sure.
Who are you taking again? Which one?
Jacob, uh, I don't know, Wicklaws
Willax
at
or
plus,
whatever?
yeah,
Okay,
at
cool.
plus
I'll ride with you
117.
on that one.
Yeah, I think that's the right pick, dude. I think again, even if he doesn't win outright, I think just the control time alone is going to give him the judge's decision.
Hey, if I ever don't know anything about either fighter on a UFC card and I want some action and feeling degenerate, I'm sprinkling the dog.
Exactly. I'm taking the dog, dude. But just the submission record alone, man, tells me he's a little more dominant on the ground. So, if it's going to come down to that, as long as he doesn't get caught.
Yeah. All right, well, man, and I apologize for passing on a lot of these early fights, but when we get up the card, I'll definitely have some
These are
picks.
they're tough, dude. Honestly, like same. I wouldn't be going crazy on these underdogs today. I mean, they're last time I was more confident with my underdog picks earlier, but these guys they're just new or fresh, coming up the ranks, and Even if they
Yeah,
have a good
and I mean,
score and
dude,
they're doing
you and
well.
I watch every single UFC card too, bro. And
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I love this about the UFC, but they're constantly bringing people in from other organizations, and
Yep.
there's always up and coming newcomers. So for me, this is a great way, cards like this, to really just evaluate, watch the fights, and then next time some of these unfamiliar faces fight again, we'll be a little bit more familiar and have a
Yeah.
stronger opinion
Opinion.
of what their style and how their methods of victory are going to be.
For sure, dude. Exactly.
Next up, we have Eduardo Mora versus Wayne Kong. Both have only each had one loss on their professional MMA record. It looks like Eduard, uh, Edarda Mara has a little bit more experience. She's 12-1 to Wayne Kong's 8-1.
Yeah, so I think Eduardo's a little bit better, like full rounded. I think she's got a little bit more grappling and submission ability. Where I think Wong's going to be like a walking zombie. I think she's just going to be looking to strike, dude, and no one's going to be able to knock her out, kind of thing. I think she's a little stronger overall. So I would say it depends if they both stay standing. It's probably Wong's got the advantage. But if Eduardo, stays close and can take the takedowns, I think she has the chance. And it's her birthday this month. I think her birthday is like the 26th or 28th. So I'm taking the birthday girl, dude. It's the underdog pick to it at plus 295.
Mara is
Mara is, yeah.
at plus 295.
Yeah.
Dude, let's ride that. We're riding the bird, dude. So Mara's
Hell
gonna win
yeah.
a decision, a split decision win, and then she's gonna call for that. She's gonna call for that birthday bonus on the microphone.
Exactly, bro. Yeah, exactly. DC will be up there and he's going to be like, it's your birthday. How do you feel on your birthday? I know it's more towards the end of the month, but still, dude, I think
I feel
she's
like
going to be
Dana
living
should
high.
send me some money.
She's going to be living high, dude, for sure. So I'm going to
Let's
take
roll.
her.
I like taking a women's underdog, man. Let's roll with Marwa for sure.
Yeah,
Mara.
at plus 295. But she can't just stay standing, otherwise she's going to get beat up on.
Yeah. All right. Finally, here we go, baby. We have Javed Basharat versus Said Nurmagomedov. Man, Said Nurmagomedov is the worst of the bunch of the Dagestani fighters,
Yeah.
but also Javed Basharat has been a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. Him and his brother were supposed to be a lot better in the UFC. This is
Yeah.
a pretty good matchup here, bro. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
the odds are reflecting, but I've
Yeah.
hated and picked against Saeed quite a bit. I know he got beat up in his last fight, but I think I'm gonna roll with Saeed here. I feel like he's probably a lot better if he gets this fight to the ground.
It's dude, yeah. This is a tough one, man. Because like you said, Saeed is probably the worst out of the Russian Dagestanian guys, and the odds decided he's plus 107. Javid Bashard is at minus 128. I mean, I feel like you could kind of talk me into either side. He's only won two of his last five fights, so he's been having a tough time. So I think it gets to that point where it's like you either got to start getting wins or you got to realize you're not quite for the UFC, and you either need to go down and get more experience and come back, or just be ready to have your contract pulled.
Yeah, he might be a decent PFL fighter, but I agree, bro. This is like kind of make or break for Saeed.
Yeah, dude. And for Boschart, I think he's got a better stand up than Saeed. So I think, like you said, dude, it just depends. If Saeed really utilizes his wrestling and keeps it in close and focuses on the grappling, he can probably get the win. But if they want to stay standing, I think Bashar can get it done, dude. You could talk him into either one, but I'm gonna lean towards Boschart just because him and his brother are both fighting this card, right? They're from top team. I always like top team fighters. And it's hard, dude. I mean, normally I'd always say pick the Russian, but on this case, dude, Saeed's, like you said, on the lower tier.
All right, well, let's split picks on this one. I'm taking Saeed by decision here.
Yeah, I think that's the smart thing, dude. Honestly, probably still going to go the decision.
So we'll see if he can take it to the ground. Next up, we have Caitlin Souza versus Bruna Brazil. What's the odds on this one? I'm curious.
They're kind of heavy too. So, Caitlin Souza is at minus 163, and Brazil is at plus 137.
I'm gonna have to go with Caitlin here, man. I feel like if she utilizes the grappling, I feel like it's her fight to lose.
So it's weird, dude, because I think on paper, and if you watch Caitlyn, she's a better fighter, but she lost to Angela Hill, bro. If you lose to Angela Hill, I'm never betting on you again. Like that's it. I mean, I'm done. I'm never betting you again. So I'm taking Brazil, dude, to get the job done. But I honestly, I think Caitlin is strategically better, and she's much stronger at this weight class. But once you lose to Angela Hill, I can no longer put money on you.
Come on, bro. What's wrong with Angela Hill, man? She's fought the who's who. She's put, I think she's pretty close to or at 40 years old now, and she's been super active in her UFC career. Um, I'm not gonna hate on Angela. But,
I shouldn't hate so
um,
hard too, but I feel like she's the full time gatekeeper, and she is very active. I will give you that. She normally gets
yeah.
probably, I would say she probably averages like 3 fights a year, realistically, dude.
You know who she
Um,
reminds me of? Like, if I had to compare her to someone in the men's side of the UFC, is she reminds me a little bit of Neil Magny's career.
yeah, very similar, dude. Exactly, like you said, she fights everybody. She'll take last minute fights. She's not afraid of anybody. But it's like she has the right skills, but doesn't know how to tactically put them together to get the win.
Yeah, yeah. I like Souza a lot here, man. I'm going with Caitlyn all day.
All right, I love it, dude. We got some split picks going.
You're taking Brazil in that one?
I'm taking Brazil too, just because I can't put money on someone who loses to Angela.
All right, we got the Battle of Brazil there, but two Brazilians
Terrible,
going on
bro.
each other.
Terrible.
Next up, we have Nico Price, OG UFC fighter. He's been in the UFC forever, it feels like, versus Nikolay Veretinikov. Dude, I don't know anything about Nikolay, but I see his records 13-7. And for me not knowing much about him and him having a record like that bad, respectfully, dude, I feel like Nico Price, this is a good fight for Nico Price to get a dub here.
It's weird, but the odds aren't on here. Like they pulled the fight on Bovada, so I don't know if something just happened recently, but they pulled they're not up. But this is a weird one, dude, because Nico Price has only won one fight out of his last five. Nicola's only won 2 fights out of his last five, and he's only won one fight in the UFC. So I mean, I feel like this is kind of the same thing, dude. It's like these guys are fighting for contracts or fighting to stay alive at this point. I don't really have a strong pick either way. I feel like Nico's been around for a long time and a little bit older and a little bit more beat up. So and then Nicola was at minus 240. So I mean I'm going to lean towards Nicola, but I'm going to stay away from this fight. I won't put any serious money on this.
Yeah, I'd probably pass, but I mean, Nico Price is getting ready to retire here at some point. He is older, so he's stacking money for that retirement, probably going to pay off some stuff. So, I like Nico Price to get the dub here. I don't see him losing to a guy that's not well known that has a 13-7 record.
Yeah, I mean
So,
neither of these
Nico
guys have been
Price,
fighting for long.
his resume is a lot stronger too on paper.
For sure. Take the underdog. I'm not
Next
mad
up,
at
we
that.
have Dan Leal, This is one fight I tried starting with. I was tripping. Dan Leal,
Now we're on the fight.
Donchenko versus Alex Morono. I don't know much about Dan Leal, bro. What do you think about him? Because I see he's 13-2. I know a lot about Morono. He's a gatekeeper that fights a lot of the upcoming monsters.
Yeah.
Morono's a dog. He's a decision merchant. He doesn't have a lot of power, but he's a tough guy to put out and finish. Um, what's the scoop on Dan Lil?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what you just said, it, dude. Alex Moreno's only won one fight of his last five. He's definitely aging out. He's starting to get up in the years there. There's an 11-year age gap, dude. So Danil's 11 years younger, and he's got great stand up, and he's mostly a Muay Thai fighter. So I think his stand up and boxing is going to be better. So this is kind of a weird one too, man. It's like if Alex stays standing, it probably will go the distance because I don't think he's going to get knocked out. But I think if they take it to the ground, I don't really know how well Danil will do. And I know Alex can grapple and wrestle, so this
You
is
said
kind of
he's
a weird
11
one.
years younger than Alex.
Yeah, Danil is 11 years younger, so he's kind of
What's the
a younger
odds?
guy coming up. Danil is the huge favorite at minus 650. Alex at plus 450. So
Yeah, I'm
this is
passing
just a
on
stay
that.
away, or
Dan
if
Lil
you love
wins, but
Alex,
that's
sprinkle
not
him.
worth the value, bro. That's not worth it.
Yeah, there's just no value there, especially like you said, a kind of a freshman coming up to like a 2-year senior.
Yeah, yeah, I'm passing on that one. Those odds are crazy. Next up, we have Dustin
Yep.
Jacoby, another longtime UFC vet and a long, probably like 20-year career plus kickboxer, Muay Thai fighter,
Exactly.
versus Julius Walker, who's 7-1 in the UFC. I'm pretty certain Julius is quite a bit younger than Jacoby, but Jacoby's a tough out, bro. He's a tough out. If it stays standing, Jacoby's been doing Muay Thai his whole career, so it's tough to beat him on the feet. So I don't know too much about Julius Walker, but I'm thinking he's gonna have to take Jacoby down if he wants to
Yep.
have more success in this
Has
fight.
to. 100%. You can't stay standing with Jacoby. It just takes one of his iron fists to knock you out, dude. That fool's got like frying pan hands, bro. I mean, they're huge, dude. You take one of those at 265, you're done, right?
Yeah, what's
Or they're at
what's the
205. They're at 205, sorry.
yeah,
The
205.
odds
What's the
are
odds on this fight?
Jacoby minus 185 and Walker at plus 160. I think Walker's a little bit more athletic, and like you said, Jacoby's a little bit older, so it's. I feel like it should be a little bit more 50-50. So I'm going to take the underdog here again. I'm going to take Julius Walker. Like you said, I think he's got to really keep it close, take it to the ground, and just be like a spider monkey, be all over him and trying to go for the submission.
Yeah, I'll ride with you on that one. I'll take Julius Walker. I like Jacoby a lot, but he's pushing 40 years old, and he's probably gonna
I
be
mean, he
retired
just
sooner than
it
later.
takes one punch. That's the problem. But when you know he's got that much power,
Dude, this next fight is going to be the fight of the night, in my opinion. This is going to be an absolute banger, bro. We have Gene
Yeah.
Matsumoto versus Farid Basharat. Matsumoto's lost one time. This is the better Basharat, bro. He's undefeated in the UFC. Um,
And
dude,
there's a reason.
I think I'm taking Basharat in this one, bro. I think it's going to be a really
Hundred
good fight though,
percent.
because Matsumoto is a freaking dog, bro. He's a dog. It's gonna.
Yeah,
I feel like
he
this
is,
is gonna be
dude.
a barn burner, but um, I feel like Boshart's just he's a really good talent, man. I feel like they're both probably future contenders, but I think Boshart more so is one of those guys that's gonna be hanging around like the top seven here in the next few years, next top 5-7 range rankings.
For sure, dude. Basharat is a really good, well-rounded fighter. He can do it on the ground. He can do it standing. I feel like the worst thing for Matsumoto is that he hasn't really fought anyone with any real talent. And his one loss was against Rob Font. So I feel like he just hasn't hit quite that level in his career to handle this much pressure. So 100% think, dude. I think Farid gets it done, man. And I don't. I wouldn't say it's going to be like. I don't think he's going to knock him out or take advantage of him in the first round. But Basharat gets the job done, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he just wears him out and then ends up taking him down and submitting him in the round 3 at some point. So
Yeah.
that was my parlay. I'm going to take Basharat money line and the Seahawks money line and parlay those.
Okay. I
I
like
got
that, bro. I'll
Basharat
ride with
at
you on
money
that
line
one.
380.
I like
Yeah,
Bostrat to win by a decision here. And
yeah.
I
I
agree
don't
I
exactly. I
agree
don't think
with
he's just going to smear him
what
up. I think he's going to go.
I agree with that take that you said about Matsumoto. Hit it's a good win over Rob Font. He's a respected UFC vet, but what would Bostrat do to Rob Font? That's my thing. I think he'd finish Rob
Yeah, I mean,
like relatively
exactly,
easy, relatively
exactly,
easy
dude.
too. So yeah, I think Bostrat's the play here. What's the odds? Do you know?
Yeah, Boshrot's at minus 280, and then Gene's at plus 230. So as I said, the
Those are
odds are a
kind
little
of
bit
those are
heavy. So
high
I'm going
odds.
to
I
take
was hoping for
Boshrot and Seahawks.
yeah. I'll ride that with you. I feel like the odds are a little crazy on that.
Yeah, that's why you that has to be a parlay too.
I was hoping Farid would be more of like a minus 180, like hopefully less than 200, but pushing
Yeah,
300 is pretty wild. But understandably so.
yep.
But
So that's
it's
why I'm
I,
going to
I think
parlay them
the
together. And
yeah, you got to parlay that one if you're going to take him with us. Next up, we have
yep,
Michael Olazejczyk versus Marc Andre Barriou. Um, dude, honestly, I feel like both guys are pretty
this is a
mid-level
banger.
UFC
This is a
fighters.
banger.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight, bro.
Yes,
I just feel like neither guy's ever
it's
gonna
going
be
to be
like
a
a contender,
boxing match.
but they're both like
Yeah,
long term UFC fighters. they are always willing to fight. They're pretty active. They're not ever going to be in the top
Yep.
10, but I like Olazashek here, bro.
Dude, yeah, 100%. Ilachechek for sure. But both of them, dude, it's like Michael's only had two out of his last five, and then Mark Barriott has only won one out of his last five. But Olashek's got the momentum, and I think this ends in a KO, dude, one way or the other. I think one of these guys is gonna get knocked the fuck out. This is gonna be probably the banger of the night for just standing on the feet and going crazy.
All right. I mean,
Well, the odds are minus
I feel
four
like Marc
eighty.
Andre Barry is more of a, he is active and he's not a bad UFC fighter, but I could see him like doing really well in the PFL or maybe even going to the PFL if he does lose another fight or two. And Olazashek,
Yeah.
um, he's probably got a little bit of a longer leash than Barry does at this point, but I like Olazashek. I feel like he's a slightly better talent between these two.
Well, the odds are minus 480, dude. So I mean, that's crazy too.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy odds though, man. I was hoping he'd be
It's
more of like
crazy
a
odds.
maybe minus 220 or maybe a little less,
Yeah,
but it's hard to justify that one, man.
it's hard, dude. Yeah, but again, that's who you would want to pick for sure for this fight. And again,
Yeah,
the over is at over 1.5 because I think either one of these guys could get a knockout.
yeah. Next up, we have Gelton Almeida. This is a heavyweight fight. Gelton Almeida, who's been getting exposed, dude. Like he's really good on the ground, but he's got the worst stand-up game ever. And
Yeah,
versus Rizvan Kuniev. Um, I feel like in this matchup, either Gelton wins by a submission if he gets him on the ground and chokes him out,
yeah,
or Rizvan has two paths to victory. He either um, keeps his standing and wears out Gelton, or he knocks him out.
yeah. I mean, I exactly, dude. I mean, both these guys lost to Curtis Blades. I think Almeida has a little bit more experience with more fighters, and I think is a little bit more athletic. He comes in at like 235 for the 265, top weight class, and Rizwan's going to come in at 265. So I think if it goes into the third round, I think just like last week with the bigger heavyweights, he's going to be more tired and more exhausted. So I think that's when Alameda is gonna, like you said, take him down and start finding the submission. So I think his path to victory is either grapple times, on the decision or submission.
Who's the underdog here?
I think Rizvan. Yeah, but it's close. So Alameda minus 165 and Rizvan plus 140.
Give me the underdog in this one. It's going to be a good fight, but dude, Jailton Almeida has just been one of the biggest frauds in the UFC, in my opinion. People were talking about him possibly being a UFC champion at some point. He even looks the part,
Yeah,
dude. Dude is absolutely a shredded unit, and
yeah.
but he has such a poor stand up game, man, and he does gas out in fights.
Yep, yeah. So
So
both these guys exactly. It's gonna be tough, but and it's weird because I noticed this one was at plus 1.5. So I would definitely take the over on this because I don't really see either one of them be like get knocked out in the first round.
yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight, bro. But I don't feel confident at all. So I personally will not be betting, but I that's a dogger pass for me.
Yeah.
Next up, all right, let's get into some bangers now, dude. We got the co-main event. We got Amir Albazi versus Kyoji Hergachui. I mean, I cannot pronounce his name, but I know this guy pretty well from seeing his fights. What's the odds on this one, first of
Horiguchi.
all? Yeah,
Um,
or Gucci.
Mario. Horiguchi minus 390.
Yeah, that makes
Albazi
total
plus
sense.
295. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's a
Same thing,
parlay
dude. I
piece for
mean,
me,
this
bro. I
guy.
feel like he's gonna be fighting for the title here pretty soon. He's
Yeah.
if he wins this one, he only has one more fight to get a title shot, in my opinion. Amir Albazi is a really good fighter. He's talented, but he's just had so many health issues throughout the years. He's had some, I want to say, like neck or back problems. Like some of
Yeah.
these injuries
Some
he's
spinal
had
issues.
are like injuries that either really prevent you from growing in the sport and really put
Yeah.
you on more of a decline faster. So for Amir Albazi, I just can't justify putting any money on him because he despite with the health issues he's had, the inactivity he's had, I just can't justify betting him other than just saying he's an underdog.
Yep, agreed. And I think this is only his second UFC fight for Horiguchi, which is weird that it took him so long to get to the UFC with the 35-5 record. And he's fighting with the American top team, dude. I
He's a
always like their
dog, bro.
fighters.
An
I
American
think he,
top team
oh yeah,
talks about him like, dude, this guy's for real. He's a
yeah,
real
he's
contender.
exactly he's an up and comer. So I don't
And the
want to say they
flyweight
gave him a
division
layup
keeps
here,
they
but
need to keep getting more new blood too, bro.
yeah, change it up. So I mean I don't want to say this is a layup, but I think Horiguchi comes in here and gets the job done fairly easily.
Yeah, and Albazi, I want to say he still has a ranking. I mean, last time I checked, he had a pretty solid ranking for, he's probably one of the worst fighters for how high he's ranked. So I do agree
Yeah,
too. I think it's a total layup fight for Kyoji.
yep,
So
yeah. I think it's going to be a great fight, and
Kyoji's
gonna
going on my parlay. I'm gonna say right now he's a lock, and I know the odds are pretty much saying that too. But dude, he's a lock, bro.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, man.
I think it's this one can be done.
Yeah, we're parlaying that baby. So, um, main event, we got Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. Dude, I just saw a post before we did this podcast today, which is Wednesday, um, February 4th. But Vinicius said that he still has 50 more pounds to cut to make weight.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you,
50
bro.
pounds.
It
Wednesday,
it
Thursday,
it can be
Friday,
done,
bro.
dude. I, it seems crazy. Everyone always says that when I tell them I have to lose like 24 pounds in 24 hours. It can be done, but I'm telling you that he's going to be exhausted. So if he does make weight, he's not going to have his full, fight potential. He's not going to have all of his energy. So I mean, he will come in probably another 20 or 30 pounds over what he weighs in at. He's going to, swell right back up once he starts hydrating and stuff. But I mean, essentially, he's just going to be doing cardio for the next 3 days. He's not going to be doing any real training because he won't be able to. His body, his sympathetic nervous system will be shutting down. I mean, all you're doing is focusing on not eating, thinking about eating, not drinking water, thinking
You're
about
not even
drinking
thinking
water,
about the
chewing
opponent
on
at all.
ice. No, I mean you're literally just thinking about cutting weight and how much life sucks and why do you do this to yourself? I should move up to the next weight class. Why am I fighting here if I'm walking around this heavy? I mean there's so many negative thoughts going through your mind when you're sitting in the sauna for 4 hours sweating your brains out, and there's just no way he's going to come in. I didn't even know he was that heavy, but I mean there's no way he's going to come in fight shape basically in a good space and position if he makes weight at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and some other notable fighters at the top of my head who do cut a lot of weight and go through like not this is pretty drastic where he's at right now, but Alex Pereira has always been a big weight bully, especially when he was cutting down to 185. Patty
Yeah.
Pimblett is a big weight bully. He cuts like
Yeah,
crazy, and
I believe you.
Charles Oliveira as well. He goes through the ringer, and also
Yeah.
Davidson Figueiredo, and he was fighting flyweight. He was always had really bad weight cuts. All right, so my opinion of this fight is I feel like Mario Bautista is a lot more professional in preparation for fights. You can count on him going in. He's going to be in the top tier shape. His weight cuts usually go pretty well. He's a great wrestler. It's really hard to put Mario Bautista out. I know
Yeah.
he gets a bad rap of being a boring fighter at times, but dude, boring fighters are if they say that because it's hard to put him
If you
out,
win,
and he loves wrestling.
yeah.
And then with
Yeah. So I mean if you
Vinicius,
win with Ray Wrestling and control time,
yeah, and with Vinicius, I feel like he's a freak talent, bro. He's massive for the division. He probably should go up a weight class to fight in featherweight, honestly.
clearly.
But if he does somehow make weight, which it'll be a surprise, he's in a main event, so you got to think that he's gonna pull it off. But I feel like he's
Yeah.
so talented, bro. Like he really could be a serious contender. He's a top five talent in my opinion. But it's hard to bet him right now, knowing that he has to cut so much weight. May I ask, what are the odds on this?
Uh Batista's at minus 175, Oliveira plus 150.
Oh, ugh, dude, Ah, man.
I'm
That's
taking
tough. You know what?
Batista.
I know
I
I've
like
been just
Batista.
bagging on him, but I'm gonna take Oliveira here, bro. Vinicius is a freak talent, bro. He's a freak talent, and if he makes the weight and somehow a miracle happens, maybe he pulls it off. But it is tough to beat Mario. But again, Mario's the kind of fighter that he's gonna be in the UFC for a long time. He's probably gonna be like a contender
Yep.
for the sorry, a gatekeeper for contenders. Like he'll probably be around that 10 to 20 ranking range. But Vinicius, whatever
Yeah.
division he's in, I feel like he's a top five, top six talent in my opinion. And I feel like when you get a freak talent like him, it's hard to not bet on him, especially if he's going to be labeled as an underdog. If he'd have been the favorite, maybe I would have leaned Bautista, but an underdog for that talent, I'm taking it.
I love it, dude. I'm taking Batista. I think the wrestling is going to be the difference. I think St. Batista's a little bit smaller. I think he can stay inside the reach advantage, and I think the grappling control time is going to go to the decision and take the win.
If Vinicius doesn't pull a pull off finishing Mario, Mario's gonna drain that gas tank so fast. I mean, if what
Yeah,
is going
especially
on is true
because
with the
again,
weight
he's
cut,
250 pounds.
Mario's got a gas tank for days,
It's
dude.
gonna be
If he's
brutal.
wrestling you to death
Yeah,
for it, this is a main event, so I'm pretty sure it's 5 rounds. So
it's five
that's
rounds.
it.
It's five
If
rounds.
it
It
makes
is.
it to the
He's gonna be.
championship rounds
He'll be
4 or 5,
gassed out.
it's Mario's world. So I
Yep.
think if someone's
Yeah, I
betting
like Mario
Vinicius,
as
you got
well.
to take him in rounds 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, or 3. Or else after that, it's Mario's fight to lose.
Yeah, especially if he really has that much weight to cut.
Yeah. All right, man. So let's put together a nasty little parlay. We got the game. Sorry, yeah, we got the fights on Saturday, game Sunday. We're gonna rock with the. Well, I'm gonna take Patriots plus 4.5 as the last leg of my parlay. So me
Okay.
personally, that's the last leg. So I'm gonna take. Um, I'm gonna take Farid Basharat as the first leg one. I'm
Yep.
taking Kyoji leg two, and then I'm gonna take Patriots plus 4.5 as leg three. It's probably not real pretty. I'm gonna
All
guess
right.
maybe a plus 170.
And Patriots plus 4.5, right?
Yeah,
All right, so plus 226.
beautiful. Let's take that to the
So that's
bank.
good.
Taking two UFC favorites, and then you got a spread. I got the spread pick is my leg three, so that's a super easy hedge. Um, Going into Sunday if
Yeah, for
the
sure.
favorites win on the UFC.
So I mean,
What are
really,
you
we
thinking,
could win. We
Legend?
both could win, dude. I'm
100%.
taking Farid, Barshot, and Seahawks, like I said, and it's minus 107, so it's almost even money.
Okay, so we both like Basharat, so we're both cheering for that one heavy.
Yeah.
Cool, like that. And
Yep.
then
So we're real similar.
what's your martingale method if you were to put that out?
All right, so I took Walker at plus 150, and then if it's same thing, only bet one, and then if that wins, you're done for the day. So I got beat up the first week we came back. So then I started back at I think 100 and maybe it was 130 because I still had a little bit of cash left over. So then we won last week. So then I just put all of the money into this one. So I took Walker at plus 150, and then if he loses, I took Almeida, and then Bautista at the end.
Okay, I like it, bro. I like it. Um, should I do it? Yeah, let's do it. All right, so I'm gonna give you one crazy UFC parlay for like a tenth of a unit, like maybe like $2, just for fun.
All right, we'll do it right now. And we're up like 25 units, dude, on this account since we started the podcast.
Beautiful. So this one like a tenth of a unit because this is just one of those Hail Marys. All right,
Yeah, I
Saeed,
like it.
leg one, Saeed Nurmagomedov.
All right.
Leg two,
Yep.
Caitlin Souza.
Yep.
Leg three, Michael Olazashek.
Love it.
Basharat, Fareed Basharat, the one we were both betting on.
Yep. Yep.
Kyoji,
Yep.
and then Vinicius Oliveira. What's that bad boy pay?
Um, plus 1620.
All right, nice. So a little over
So
16 to
even
1.
yeah, a tenth of a unit is going to win you like 1.5 units, a little more.
Okay. Yeah, just for fun though. I don't expect that to hit, but just
No.
something
Well,
to
same thing, dude.
be
We
excited
came
about.
down to the last one. So again, if it comes down to the last person, especially for a big parlay like that, hedge it if you can.
Yeah. Hey, and what's interesting about Bautista is like last week we got plus money by taking Volk by decision. You know, we both felt if Volk wins pretty confidently, it's going to be by decision. We were right. With Mario,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
interesting with Vinicius's weight cut. Mario, you know, has always been known as a decision merchant when he wins, but he could definitely
Yeah.
finish Vinicius in rounds 3, 4, and 5. You know, he's super live for a submission or ground and pound. You know, if Vinicius gasses out,
Yep.
this could be Mario's, you know, time to show out and get himself a finish.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight, but yeah, I think it just depends on what shape Vinicius comes in, dude. Honestly, so we'll have to wait for the weigh-ins to see what really happens. But I think Batista grinds him out, dude, long term.
Hey, funny question for you. Does
Go for it.
anybody on this
Yeah,
UFC card gas out worse than Bam Bam Tuivasa and his opponent last week?
dude, there's no way. Tuxera. I mean, those guys both, dude. At the
Yeah,
end of the
Taliesin
fight, they
Teixeira.
basically laid down on the mats. Let's be
Dude,
honest, they basically laid down and took a nap, dude. They were
yeah,
exhausted, bro.
dude, I bet you nobody on this card gasses out more than Teixeira and Bam Bam
And
did.
so
That was crazy,
I
bro.
think
Like,
Tua was at yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think
Sorry, what
Tua
were you
was at
saying?
320, and he had to go down to I think Tua or yeah, Bam Bam was at like 320, so and he had to come down like 40. So was that like 65 pounds from his heaviest? And I don't think that was in a week. I think that's where he was at his heaviest. So I mean, to have to cut again, I'm telling you, it just exhausts you, and there's no way you can perform for 25 minutes straight at that level. And those guys just did it for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it was frustrating to watch because, like, you know, it's hard to not cheer for Tuivasa, and he had so many opportunities to win. You know, once he kept getting up in the second, third
He
rounds, you
did.
know, he landed some really big shots, but he was just so
Yeah,
gassed. He put his head into Cher's chest, and
I
they
thought
ended
he
up
was gonna
just
get it.
both standing there. And that was a tough one to watch, and it's frustrating because, you
Hugging
know,
each other.
the fighters only say what they want you to know, but the way that I was looking at Tuivasa, he looked like he was just there to collect a check. You know, the way that he came into the fight, I just felt like
Yeah,
he could have been in such better shape. You know, I just feel like he looked like he was just drinking at a bar and was like, F it, let's go get some UFC money this weekend and go fight. You know, I
yeah,
just feel like if he would have taken that more serious, he could have easily knocked out
he had a
Teixeira, man.
chance.
Teixeira is, oh, you know,
He had a chance. Yeah,
he's I don't think he's that good of a UFC fighter. He's a PFL guy to me.
yeah, he had a chance for sure, dude. And I mean, it's one thing if you come in like with 3 weeks notice, and and maybe you've been training and you've been hitting the gym a little bit, and you're like, oh, I got 3 weeks, I got called up. That's one thing. But if you already know you're fighting, 6 months out, 3 months out, there's really no excuse.
Bro, and it's at his home. That was in his backyard. You know, like that. I'm just like, man, you gotta come together. I mean, look, you know, opposite story with the true
Right?
professional and Volkanovski. You know, dude, he's
Yeah.
37 years old. He's already been there, done that. You know, he comes in, you know, just the best shape of his life every fight.
Yeah, because really, like you just said, what does he really have to fight for? And he's still defending the title. He's still fighting to win. Like if he hasn't been there.
I will say that he's trying to. I think he just tied Jose Aldo for title defenses, so he is
Oh,
chasing
okay.
to. If he wins one more, he'll pass him. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, he's money doesn't move him. He's already made enough money. He's got all the recognition.
Yeah.
He's already remembered
Yeah.
as possibly the featherweight goat. So I just feel like there's just certain fighters that want it more than others, and also
Yeah.
I think it's also a little bit different too when you have like with Tuivasa, he's lost like 4 or 5 fights in a row. I feel like when especially with a UFC fighter, I wouldn't know, obviously, but when you're going a losing streak, that's got to kill your confidence because you're going through these brutal fight camps to get your body ready, and when you're losing fights, I feel like you just start to kind of doubt yourself when you're in the ring or in the
Well, I feel
octagon.
you should be hungrier. You should be hungrier. You should be like, why did I lose? What was my game plan? Why did I not win? How do I correct those mistakes to get the win next time when my opportunity comes up? Otherwise, your career is short term now. Like after this loss, how many more fights do you think he's gonna have with the UFC?
I don't know. He's a crowd favorite, so I would like to say that he probably has 1, 2 more max, but.
That's what I would
Yeah, I
say.
mean
That's
he's
exactly
one
what
of
I
those
would
guys
say.
that's gonna be retiring soon too. But I don't know, man. If I just know that if I was in that sport and I was that talented, I would, in any in any sport, especially the UFC, you never know how long or when your career's going to end. So I would just imagine you would want to soak in and take advantage of all that money that you can get between the sponsorships, the
Yep.
fights, and being as active as
Yep.
possible while you're in that. Because most UFC fighters don't even last 5 years. I mean, it's very
Yeah.
few that last 10 years. Like, that's
It's
very
so
few. And then all the damage on your body, man. It's like get that money while you can, man. And take that serious.
yep. I think it takes one broken leg and then you're never back, you know?
100%. So, yeah. Anyways, it's gonna be
All
some
right,
good
guys.
fights this weekend, and hopefully our pick plays are still alive for the Super Bowl, so we can hedge out. And dude, we're gonna have to put on our page those exact scores for the ending of the Super Bowl. Those will be fun to tail and see how close we are.
All right, we'll get it. We'll post everything beforehand. We'll post this up tonight. I'll start putting the smaller videos out over the week and everyone again go down to the comments, blast us, tell us why either game, either the Seahawks win or why the Patriots win. Tell us your opinion down below and then we'll just go from there, guys.
Or how we can't pronounce half the UFC fighters' names. And you know what? If you want to say anything about us not pronouncing their names right, you do a video in the comments saying pronouncing their names. They're probably going on
It's
YouTube how to pronounce blah 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 blah.
I mean, really, if we were smart, we would like go back and go watch the previous UFC and see how they're pronouncing it, dude. See how DC's pronouncing it, and then go from there. But
Yeah.
fuck it.
And you know what? That's the cool thing about this podcast is like we're not sitting here trying to act like we're ESPN commentators. We
Yeah,
truly do.
yeah,
We call each other every UFC fight card. We watch every
yeah.
single UFC fights, but dude, I'm not one of those analysts or uh
Exactly,
MMA
bro.
YouTubers that is gonna go watch the last 3 fights of each UFC fighter or see how they did at Risen or One Championship or
Yeah,
PFL or any of these other organizations are tough enough, whatever they come from. I'm not
yeah,
watching that,
yeah,
bro. Or Risen, I'm not watching that, dude. I want to see what you did in either Contender Series or in the UFC, and I got to see
yeah.
you fight 2 or 3 times.
And we're doing a full podcast. Most of those videos are literally like 10 seconds or 30 seconds. So they're like just following a script for that exact video, right? Where we're just
Yeah,
going right off the top of our head, dude.
or they're studying and they got all this like a whole study book. I'm like, dude, this is just off the top, dude. These are
Exactly.
just the boys watching the fights and having a good time,
Yep,
man. So if you're looking
yep.
for some other crap, you're missing out on this stuff because this is raw and unfiltered.
Yep, exactly. Mic'd up and misinformed, baby. And we're up
And you
five
know what?
units, so
You know what? For two guys that don't do a lot of crazy research or take notes or any of that stuff and just go off the top, dude, we literally got 1 or 2 fights on that card last week wrong. And we probably hit it like an 80 to 90, 80 to 85%
yes,
clip.
dude. We
No
hit it
cap. And you
hard,
can
yeah.
look at the last podcast too. Even the Volk
Exactly,
fight,
dude.
bro.
Exactly.
We said it was going to be
Yep,
a good fight. We just saw Diego
yep.
as a slight underdog, and it's hard to not take the
Take
underdog
the
who's a lot
Warriors.
younger. And we were wrong, but we headshot and made a great profit still.
Yep. Yeah,
So
I think if you bet an underdog and it goes the distance and goes the decision, I don't think that's a bad pick. I mean, I can think the value is there on that side of it, you know.
yeah, and I would never hate on anybody picking an underdog to win, man. Now if you're over here, betting hundreds of hundreds on a minus 500, to me that's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. But
We're
all right,
finding
guys,
value, man.
bet safe, follow our picks, tail us, fade us, whatever you want. But go down, leave us a comment on what you think. All right, guys.
Boom.